Nobody expected the explosion to come from Judge Caprio. The defense attorney had been smirking for nearly 10 minutes, interrupting the victim, rolling his eyes, leaning back in his tailored navy suit like the whole courthouse was just another room his money already owned. Then he said it, cold, sharp, dripping with the kind of contempt that only comes from people who mistake status for innocence. "With respect, Your Honor, my client should not be punished because some emotional woman decided to turn a parking dispute into theater." The sound that followed was not loud. It was worse. It was the sound of a courtroom sucking in its breath all at once. Judge Caprio's face changed. The warmth vanished. The room froze. And in that instant, everyone knew they were about to witness the exact moment arrogance stopped being a strategy and became a fatal mistake. At the plaintiff's table sat Marisol Vega, a 48-year-old janitor with careful posture, a second-hand gray coat folded neatly over her chair, and hands clasped so tightly around a manila envelope her knuckles were almost white. She looked like a woman who had spent her whole life apologizing for taking up space. Her shoes were clean but scuffed. Her eyes were red from lack of sleep, not self-pity. Across from her sat Ethan Wexler, the defendant, heir to a luxury real estate family, silver watch peeking beneath a cashmere sleeve, jawline lifted with that practiced expression rich men wear when they have never once imagined the word no might apply to them. Beside him lounged Martin Keene, defense attorney, expensive haircut, polished cufflinks, lazy grin, one leg crossed over the other, as if this was a networking breakfast instead of a day that had nearly broken a woman's life. If you've ever seen power sneer at decency and call it weakness, stay with this story and tell me in the comments the exact second you knew Judge Caprio had seen through all of them, because when that moment came, it hit like a hammer. On paper, the case looked small. That was the deception. It had been filed as a dispute over vehicle damage, unpaid repair costs, and a claim stemming from a chaotic confrontation outside an apartment building in Federal Hill. According to Ethan, Marisol had recklessly rammed her cleaning cart into his imported coupe while he was briefly stopped near a fire lane. According to Marisol, Ethan had blocked the building's service entrance with his car, screamed at her when she asked him to move, lurched forward while she was unloading supplies, crushed her cart against the wall, and injured her shoulder badly enough to keep her out of work. The defense had come ready to make it look like nuisance litigation. Keene's whole performance said the same thing before his mouth did. This woman is poor, frightened, and easy to flatten. Judge Caprio asked Marisol to speak. Her voice came out soft and shaky at first, but steady enough to carry. She said she had worked in that building for 11 years. She said she was unloading mops, trash liners, and cleaning chemicals before dawn when Ethan's car slid into the no parking zone by the service door. She said she knocked once on the tinted glass and asked politely if he could move. She said he lowered the window just enough to tell her, "You people are always in the way." The gallery shifted. A few whispers. Keene rose instantly and objected to the phrasing, calling it conveniently dramatic. That's when Judge Caprio gave him a warning look, the first of the day, calm but unmistakable. Keene smiled like he thought he could charm his way through it. That was his second mistake. Then came the first spike. Marisol opened the envelope in her lap and slid in a series of photographs. Her cart had not simply been bumped, it had been pinned so hard against the brick wall that one wheel had snapped clean off. Bottles of bleach and ammonia had burst across the concrete. The yellow caution signs were twisted under the bumper. There was also a photo of her shoulder, purple and yellow with bruising, and a hospital discharge paper showing a torn rotator cuff strain. Ethan barely glanced at any of it. He was too busy whispering to his attorney with a little smile on his face like pain was only real when it happened to people in his tax bracket. Keene stood and began his cross-examination with the kind of false politeness that somehow insults you more than shouting. He asked Marisol whether she was certain she had not panicked and exaggerated. He asked if English was her first language. He asked if she was under financial stress. Then, with a shrug that made the back row audibly murmur, he said,